When people think of trouble with HOAs, they picture petty notices about overgrown lawns or mailboxes being the wrong shade of beige. But out here in Jackson County, Missouri, our HOA brought their own security patrol, and one of them found out the hard way what happens when you mess with Grandpa Roy. We own Hollister Ranch, a 240-acre property that's been in the family for 70 years. It's rolling pasture, a few barns, and a wide creek that cuts through the middle. Our land borders a subdivision called Clearwood Hills, run by the most overbearing HOA council this side of the Mississippi. The HOA's security team is just a couple of underpaid guys in matching polos who drive old trucks with magnetic badges that say Clearwood Enforcement. No law enforcement authority, no jurisdiction, just a whole lot of attitude. For months, we'd caught them pulling off the HOA road and parking halfway onto our fields, presumably to watch the neighborhood. Sometimes they'd eat lunch there, or worse, write down plates of vehicles coming and going from our ranch's main driveway. We confronted them a few times, and they always had the same excuse, just keeping things safe, right? By trespassing on private land that has nothing to do with the HOA. We posted signs. They ignored them. We chained the main trail. They cut the lock. But it all came to a head last June on a scorching Wednesday afternoon. I pulled up the long gravel drive and spotted a dusty gray Chevy Tahoe. The HOA patrol truck parked square in the middle of our south hayfield, less than 20 feet from the creek bank. No one inside. Driver door open. Engine running. No call, no warning. I radioed my grandpa. Now, Roy Bear McConnell isn't just a rancher. He's a retired Korean War tank mechanic with a stubborn streak a mile wide and a strong opinion about land rights. He showed up in his 1974 Ford F-250, complete with logging chain and a don't mess with me glint in his eye. We looked around. No HOA cop in sight. Grandpa climbed into the Ford, backed up toward the Tahoe, and looped the chain right through the SUV's front bumper. With one slow stomp on the gas, he dragged the Tahoe across the hayfield like a sled. When it reached the embankment, he gave it a little more throttle. 2 seconds later, splash! The whole SUV slid nose first into the shallow part of the creek, not deep enough to total it, but just enough to soak the engine and turn it into an expensive paperweight. That's when the cop came running, phone in hand, screaming, "You can't do that. That's HOA property." Grandpa, still sitting in the cab, tipped his hat and said, "Neither can you. That's trespassing." The sheriff arrived 20 minutes later. We thought we'd be in trouble, but turns out the HOA had been warned twice already about parking on our land. And here's the kicker. The deputy who showed up used to work cattle with Grandpa years back. After seeing the signs, the photos, and the bent lock on our gate, he shrugged and said, "Shouldn't have left it there." The HOA filed a civil complaint. Judge threw it out in 12 minutes flat. Now, there's a brand new chain fence around that part of the pasture, and the HOA security patrol keeps their distance. Grandpa still keeps the bent front bumper from the Tahoe mounted on the barn wall like a trophy, and every time someone from the HOA drives by real slow, he smiles and says, "Hope they brought a snorkel."